Hi, I'm Annie Weisbrod with the Shine Yoga Teachers Collective. Today we're going to work on our spine. One of my favorite quotes is very old, hundreds of years old, and it goes something like this. The aspirant of yoga sees his own spine. The 7 islands, the rivers, the oceans, the mountains, the gates, and the deities, and it goes on. But that first part about the aspirant of yoga, this aspirant of union, of integration, which is the meaning of yoga, we become aware of our own spine. So we're going to focus today on feeling our spine. First, I'm going to give you a disclaimer that this video does not offer medical advice. Please stop any activity that causes pain or difficulty breathing. If that happens and persists after you have stopped, please seek medical attention. So first, just a quick overview of your spine. I invite you to watch the guided meditation on spine. It's about 12-15 minutes long. It's a different video here, but we go much more in detail about the spine. But in general, our spine starts all the way down here in the tailbone, 4 fused vertebrae, then my sacrum, which is 5 fused vertebrae. The lumbar spine is 5 vertebrae. And the thoracic spine, 12 vertebrae, basically corresponds to the ribs in the rib cage, and then the cervical spine of your neck that goes up into the skull, and we have 6 vertebrae there. So I'll be talking through those parts, sacrum, lumbar, thoracic, cervical spine of the neck, and calling out the numbers of each vertebra as we talk. Another important aspect as we go through the practice today is the placement of the governing vessel. So this is one of the big meridians, big channels within Chinese medicine and acupuncture. But we also detect it when we're doing energy work with yoga. Sometimes it has other names. Sushumna Nadi is related to that. The pranic tube is related to this. So those are other names, and we'll have a different class to focus more on that. But some of you may detect on the inside edge of your spine, so not the bones, but the inside as it runs along the flesh of your body on the inside, you may feel some movement of energy through that central channel, okay? And that's, again, the governing vessel, also sometimes called the pranic tube or the central light column, okay? So let's go ahead and get started. We're going to start seated. Today, you'll need a mat or a solid rug that feels comfortable for you, something to sit on, probably a blanket, and 2 blocks. And that's, again, to help you make sure that we have enough opening within the joints, that we're not compressing within any of those areas. If you don't have blocks, you can use a chair or a wall. So as we get started, let's start first with simply breathing and finding our neck. So sit in a comfortable seat and long, straight spine. If you like, you can start with your eyes closed and find your breath. Relax the shoulders back and down. Relax the legs and the belly. Take deep, full breaths. Now let's bring the mind's eye to the spine. We'll start at the very bottom, the tailbone that you're sitting on. Just barely above the ground where your flesh meets the seat. And the sacrum, a triangular or flat portion of the back at the very bottom. Those are stabilizing parts of the spine. The lumbar spine of your low back, the thoracic spine of the middle back, through the ribs, and the cervical spine of your neck. You may imagine as if the spine continues and comes through the center of the skull, around the back, over the top and the center, through the forehead and between your eyebrows. That's part of our governing vessel. So if you have a picture of that, an image of that in your head, or you're feeling parts of it or all of it, Whatever your approach is today, lengthen it, make it longer. So reaching that top hook of the governing vessel, the center of your head, reaching the very top vertebra of the neck and the cervical spine, extending those long, giving them more space between each vertebra into the ceiling. Lifting the spine, each vertebra, lengthening. And then the very lower part of the spine, the tailbone, imagine as if it grows into the floor. And the sacrum stabilizing like the base of a very big tree. And from this great base, that extension and growth of the spine. We're going to move the spine in 3 directions with our exercises today. We're going to move in the sagittal plane, which is front to back. So I'd like you to begin by tucking your head, chin towards your chest, and roll your spine down. Use your breath. Roll as close to the floor as you want. And then roll back up again. And now arch back. Maybe you put your hands behind your back and arch back. Lifting the very center of the spine, perhaps all the way from the lumbar spine, the low back, lifting up toward the ceiling, arching the back through the thoracic spine, lengthening through the cervical spine and the neck. Good. That's what we're going to play with today in quite a few poses. That lengthening and the arching forward and the arching back. We're also going to go side to side in the frontal plane. So again, lengthening the spine up, and let's lean over to the side. So instead of just thinking about dropping the ear down, imagine that central column of your spine that comes through the top of the head and arches toward the floor on your side. You can support yourself with your hand on the floor. If you want, you can lift your other arm up to the ceiling or even over your ear. But think about not only stretching the side, but the spine, the mind's eye at the very base, tailbone and sacrum, lifting through the lumbar spine, over, and release that side. We're going to switch sides, hand on the floor. And first just lean the spine over, curling, arcing to the other side. Deep, full breath. If you wish, you can extend your arms straight up or over the ear. Deep, full breath lengthens. And then with a breath out, you settle, relax down to curl to the side. And release coming up. Next, the third plane of motion is the transverse plane, which is rotation. So we're going to move toward either side, one hand on your knee, other hand behind your back, and twist. Close your eyes for just a moment. Find the very base, bottom of your spine, the tailbone, the sacrum, and that's going to stay stationary. That doesn't move. The lumbar spine can move a little bit. It's basically a stabilization part of the spine, but you can twist it a little bit behind your belly button. Find the navel. Bring your mind's eye several inches, centimeters behind that to your spine, and twist. Twist through the thoracic spine in the middle where the ribs are. This is a little bit more mobile. And then twisting through the neck. And release that side. Take a breath, pause in the middle. Feel what happened to your back, your sides when you did that other side. Deep, full breath. Breath in, lengthen. Breath out, settle down through the legs. Turning mind's eye at the bottom of the spine, turning each lumbar vertebra in the low back. Walking your mind's eye up the spine through the thoracic, turning each vertebra up into the neck, the cervical spine, and turning each one. And release. So again, we're moving the spine in all of our exercises today, forward and back, sagittal plane, side to side, frontal plane, and this twisting, transverse plane. Okay. So let's come on to hands and knees. Toes can be tucked under or flat on the floor. Just some cat-cow. Deep breath. Just warming up. Breath in, the spine extends, reaching the tailbone in one direction, reaching the top of the head in the other. Feel or sense with your mind's eye the entire spine as you move back and forth with an inhale and an exhale. Now we're going to use a move from Pilates. Roll the shoulders back, keep your left foot flat on the floor, pick up your right foot and move it over. So you're going to look over your left shoulder and look at your right foot. You can wiggle the toes a little bit. Hello. I'm curling my spine to the left, frontal plane. Move the foot all the way over to the right. Look over your right shoulder and look at your foot. Do this a few times. Breath in on one side, breath out on the other. Do 5. And switch sides, right foot down, left foot comes up. 5 breaths. Breath in on one side, breath out on the other. Move the whole spine. We're not only moving one portion. See if you can feel through the neck, the tailbone, the entire spine, moving to the sides. And release. We're going to twist the spine now. So right arm comes under. Put your shoulder onto the floor and your head. You can put the left hand onto the sacrum if you wish, or have it on the floor. I'm going to put mine on my sacrum and I'm going to take the right hip and lean way over to the right side with the hip. Taking the left shoulder, move it back. Twisting the spine. It also works again to put their fingertips on the floor, to push the left shoulder back as you twist the spine. Release and switch sides. Hand can be on the sacrum, that you feel that you're balanced across the hips. Left hip leans way over to the left. Right shoulder leans back. Your head turns, you're turning also through the neck and cervical spine. And release. Coming into down dog. And just lengthen. Bending the knees, you're welcome to come up onto the balls of the feet and back toward the heels, bending one knee, bending both knees. Just play around. Loosening up the legs, the hips. Mind's eye on your spine, extending that long line from the tailbone all the way through lumbar spine, low back, thoracic spine in the middle, cervical spine in your neck, out through the center of the head
as if it could draw an arrow between your fingers. Walking the feet forward, coming into Uttanasana. Feet are hip distance apart, hands to your blocks or your shins or the floor, whatever's comfortable for you. We're gonna rock on the feet a little bit. You can bend the knees if you want. Just rock a little bit. We're gonna come into shortstop pose. So forearms on your thighs. Find the sacrum. So this triangular bone right here, if you want, you can put a hand on it that you can feel if one hip is higher than the other. We want to be right in the middle. And now extend the spine, arch. Find the whole spine. So instead of just moving the back of the head back, which we do, also move the shoulder blades back and open up these hips as wide as the knees. They come out to the side, but we're working on the spine. So to find the tailbone, the sacrum, moving and lengthening, arching through the low back, through the thoracic spine, and through the cervical spine. And now curl the other way, round the back. Notice how that feels in the legs and in the hips, in the neck, in your belly. And go back and forth a few times. This is cat-cow in shortstop position, but you're playing with your back, playing with your spine, feeling it arch and round the whole thing. A lot of times we get into habits and only move certain portions of the spine that we're aware of. And here we're playing with finding all of it. How does all of it move? Can I become aware, conscious of the whole spine? One more breath. And release. We're going to roll up, hands walking up the body. Let's roll through the spine. Deep breath in and reach. And release. One standing breath. And close your eyes, shoulders back. Feel your feet on the floor. Feel your spine. We're going to do a sun salutation with a straight back. Breathe in, reach up. We're going to pivot right at the hip joint, long straight spine, reach the tailbone back, the top of the head way forward, balance yourself, bend the knees, swan dive down into Uttanasana, keeping the back straight. So most of us are not going to curl forward into a full forward bend because that rounds the spine. Many of us will stop at a half forward bend. Knees are bent. Reaching the tailbone and the sacrum way behind you to the other side of the room. Reaching the thoracic spine, cervical spine, through the top of the head. Long, straight spine. Left leg reaches back. Coming into a high lunge. The blocks are on either side of your feet. Check that the blocks are right under your shoulders. Again, you might want to check the sacrum. I find this really helpful to know if in this position, my right hip tends to be forward. With my hand on the sacrum, I can feel that. So I move my right hip back. Long extension, very long straight spine. Really check your neck. A lot of us have a tendency to look forward or to look down at the feet. Find that middle point where your spine, the whole thing is straight, including through the neck. Deep breath. You can take your right arm off and play with the right arm. Whatever you want to do, keeping that straight spine. And release. Knee comes onto the floor. And we're going to continue with this long, straight spine. So a lot of us will put a block here under the hands. The hands are going to come on the inside of the right foot, keeping a long, straight spine, and just lean forward. Some of us are more limber and are able to keep a straight spine as we come down to the forearms. Deep breath. Lengthen. This game is about lengthening the spine. Where's my tailbone, sacrum, lengthening the whole spine. Breath in, get it long. Good. Release. Blocks move to the front. We're coming into a knee plank. Long, straight spine. Hands are right under the shoulders, outer rotation of the upper arm. As if you could pull from your knees, pulling your spine, tailbone long through the top of the head. Lowering slowly for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lengthening the toes back. We're going to come into a Cobra position, but we're still going to try to keep a straight spine, which is not what we usually do for this pose. So you're going to get to play with this a little bit. So see what you can do. Maybe you have to have hands flat to pull your spine long and forward. And we will arch a little bit. But see what it feels like to get really long. We're playing with long, straight spine here. Not just curling as we usually do, finding the length in the spine. Cervical, thoracic, cervical spine, all of it gets long. Good, release. Toes turn under, find the whole spine. Find the back of the spine, the lumbar, thoracic, cervical spine of your neck. As you breathe in, you're going to press into the hands and lift the whole spine at once. Like it's a board. Good. Press back, down dog. Hands are open, big wide fingers, the whole palm is down. Feet are hip distance apart. You're welcome to bend the knees. And lengthen the spine, reach the tailbone back. A lot of times bending the knees helps with that. We can get longer through the low back. Reach the top of the head forward between the fingers. Deep full breath allows the rib cage to expand, the lungs inside the rib cage, opening through and under the shoulder blades. Good. Left foot comes forward. Coming back into our high lunge. Again, practicing a long, straight spine. You may take the left hand, put that on your sacrum, reposition yourself to get even, that this left hip is not too far forward, that the left and right hip are even. You'll feel it in the sacrum. Breath in, lengthen. Breath out, settle. Relax. If you wish, take the left arm up and move it around. Breath in, long, long, lengthen that spine. Breath out, relax into the floor. And release. Knee comes to the floor, right knee down. The block comes down. You might have hands on the block, so the knee is right against the shoulder. Long, straight spine. Both hips lean forward. We're lengthening the spine, getting a stretch here through the hip flexor muscles. You can also, for some that are more limber, forearms come onto the block. But again, trying to keep long, straight spine. Deep breath. release. Coming up, stepping forward, Uttanasana, forward bend. Hands on blocks or on your shins perhaps. Long, straight spine. Ground through the feet. Feel the bottoms of the feet on the mat. Soft knees, not locked in the legs. And really bend right at this hip joint, moving your tailbone back and the top of the head forward. And release, bringing the hands to your thighs, bend your knees. We're going to come up with a flat back. So breath in, lift your straight spine. Standing breath. Continue to stand and observe deep, full breaths. Notice with your mind's eye your spine. Where does it look? How does the spine feel? And breathe in, reach up. And curl, hands together, round the spine. Roll down into Uttanasana. Fingers might be on blocks or the floor, but here we're definitely rounding the back. So put your hands wherever it's helpful to support you with a rounded back. Notice what your tendency is to round. A lot of times people will round just the cervical spine more. See if you can also round more through the cervical spine and through the thoracic. It might mean that you come up a little bit more so that you can get a full rounding of the spine. And release. Blocks on either side of the feet, right leg steps back, lunge. So first, just lengthen. Deep breath. We're going to curl the spine down. So your chest is going to come on the inside of your left leg a bit. Round your spine. Notice again where you round through the neck. My thoracic is pretty straight. My lumbar is curling, so I'm going to adjust to get a more curved spine here. Use the blocks, use the wall, use your chair as is helpful. Knee comes onto the floor, and we're going to arch back. Reposition your blocks so that they're right under the shoulders, or put your left hand on your leg. Both hips lean forward. You can check the sacrum, that you're even, that you're leaning forward and down, and then lengthen and arch. Lengthen through the lumbar spine, the thoracic, the cervical spine. Perhaps you place your right hand behind your head to support you as you curl back. Breathe. And release. Blocks forward, coming into a plank. Plank on your toes or on your knees, always a choice. Long, straight spine in this one. Deep breath. Lengthen every breath. Now lower to the floor for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lengthen the legs back, flat feet. We're going to come forward into Sphinx Pose. Elbows under the shoulders. So here is a supported arch. We're going to bring the belly button forward so that lower spine, lumbar spine, comes forward as it arches. See if you can arch through the lumbar spine first, and then the thoracic. Walk your mind's eye up through the bottom to the top of the thoracic spine as you arch back. And move your hands around, move your forearms around so that you're supported as you do this arch. And then through your neck, cervical spine. Deep, full breaths, lengthening as you arch. And release. Hands slide back, toes turn under. We're going to come through a knee plank, keeping a straight spine. Find your spine, close your eyes. Feel the whole spine, especially this part, lumbar through thoracic spine. And as you press in, lift the whole thing as a block. And then push back, down dog. Deep, full breath. Every breath that comes in, the shoulder joints open. There's space between them, more space. Deep breath. Lengthen spine. Knees come onto the floor. Ustrasana. So some people will have a block outside their foot and put the hands on the block. Other people will have hands on the hips. Some will put fingers onto the heels. So we're breathing in and we're lengthening the back first and then curling through each section. So find the sacrum, find your lumbar and lengthen through those parts. Lengthen through the thoracic as you curl back. You can put the hands again on the hips, or on your heels, or on blocks. Deep breath. Find the spine as you move here. And release. Coming down. Opening up your knees, toes flat. Balasana, child's pose, round your back. Deep, full breath. And releasing back into down dog, Adho Svanasana. Lengthen the spine, long straight spine for this one. Deep Ujjayi breath. Right foot steps forward, lunge. Blocks on either side of your foot. Right under the shoulders, lengthen as begin. Long straight spine. Feel that lengthening with the breath in, lengthening in both directions. Breath out, settle. Knee comes onto the floor. Oops. Sorry, we're gonna arch. So chest comes to the inside. Rounding the back. So again, paying attention to not just tucking the head, but rounding through the thoracic behind your heart, rounding through the low back behind your belly button. Now release. Coming into low lunge, Anjaneyasana. Moving the blocks under the shoulders. Both hips lean forward. Perhaps your right hand comes to your leg. You can find the sacrum. Make sure that both hips are moving forward evenly. Drop the tailbone down. That tailbone lengthens down and then begin to arch, finding that low spine through the lumbar spine, walking up 5 vertebrae of the lumbar spine, 12 vertebrae of the thoracic. Keep lengthening and arching back. Perhaps the hand comes behind your head to support you as you lean and arch back through the neck, cervical spine. And release. Stepping forward, Uttanasana. In Uttanasana, feet are hip distance apart. We're going to bend the knees and bring your hands to the shins or behind. Perhaps you hold the back of the knees. Tuck your head round your back. This is a more advanced version that I'm doing here, but my knees are bent and the back is rounding. Other people may feel better to have hands on the legs or forearms on the legs as you arch in a short stop position. Keep the shoulders back. Deep breath. And release, rolling up. Standing breath. And observe. Notice your connection to the ground through the feet or grounding cord. Notice the shoulders, back and down. Notice your breath, deep, full inhale and exhale. And check your spine, neck, behind your heart and lungs, along the ribs, lower spine, tailbone. And continuing to keep your eyes closed with some awareness. You imagine or sense a channel on the inside edge of the spine. It might be thin like a string. It might be thick like a pipe. Allow that to extend down into the ground and up through the sky. Good. And breathe in, reach up. Flat back down, pivoting at the hip, forward bend. We're going to twist, coming into Utkatasana chair. Balancing in the middle to begin, long straight spine. You can have the hands on the thighs, you can have the arms wherever you wish, to the sides or in front perhaps. We're going to twist over to the left leg. Hands can come together if you wish, and we're going to twist the spine, find the sacrum, so put left hand on the sacrum. Position so that you can feel the evenness of the two hips. And then twist if you want. Perhaps some people can even touch and feel how much they turn through the lumbar spine, thoracic, and then through the neck. If you wish, you can open up the arms, or you can keep the hands together. Whatever is most stable and helpful for you to twist. Release. Full Uttanasana, forward bend. Deep breath. Move around, rock around if you wish. Coming back into Utkatasana chair. Again, arms can be anywhere. They can be to the sides, they can be in front, they can be supporting you on your legs. Twisting to the right. So again, finding the sacrum, checking that the two hips are even, lengthen. Hands can come together and twist. Hands can open if that's better. Feel the spine, lower spine, lumbar, twist, thoracic, twist through each vertebra, through the cervical spine of the neck. And release. forward fold. Right foot steps back. We're going to come down onto the knee. Block comes down again as we did before. So perhaps you are on your forearms on a block, or you're on your hands on the floor, or your forearms are on the floor. You're going to take this left foot and turn it to the side. So your hand might stay on the floor, it might stay on a block, or it might come to your leg. You'll have to play around with that, and we're going to twist. So belly moves, not only feeling through the front of your belly button, but feel from the back. Twist through the back. Walk your mind's eye up each vertebra as you turn. And again, it may be helpful to have the hand on the leg, or perhaps the arm comes up as you twist. And release. We have a balance pose here. So for some people, this might be a good time to come up onto a block or to use a chair. Other people will have a hand on the floor. You're going to take your left hand and reach to your right foot, so it's diagonal across the body, and pull the heel toward your hip. Lean the hips forward. You're twisting through the spine again. Open up the toes, breathe. Open up shoulders. Release. Good. Coming into your knee plank, or a full plank, you choose. Long, straight spine, stabilize. And lower for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Salutation, locust pose, reaching the feet back, interlace the fingers. Breath in, we lift. Breath out, we settle, just a couple in the center. Feel the whole back arch. See what you can do to modify, going beyond your usual habit, to bring a greater arch to some parts of the body that don't usually curl. Good. We're going to put the left shoulder on the floor. Your right knee stays down, and twist. The head can look toward the floor. Lengthen. And switch sides. Right shoulder down, left knee stays down. Look up and twist, and then look to the floor. Lengthen, breathe, and release. Left hand comes in front, right hand comes behind, same foot. Press the heel up, breath in, breath out, release. Breath in, press the heel up, lengthen, arch through the back, and release. And let go, other side. Breath in, lengthen, lift the heel. Breath out, release. Just settle it a bit. And release. breath in, coming up through your knee plank or your full plank, pressing back, down dog. Deep, full breath. Left foot stays down, right leg comes up. Three-legged dog, check that you are equally balanced on the right and left hands, right and left shoulder joints, and then twist the lower part of the body as you bend the knee and curve. Rotate through the thoracic spine. You can move the foot if you want. Rotate at the ankle. Release that side. Switch sides. First, just straight, finding the balance between right and left sides. And then twist. Through the thoracic spine, bend your knees. Deep breath. And release. Let's come down onto the knees. Sit back on the heels, just take a little break. Stretching out the feet. So little toes come forward. And we're just resting. Feel the spine. Allow this lower portion of the spine to be like a base of a tree and anchor into the ground. And then the rest of your spine to get nice and tall as you breathe and rest. And release. Coming forward into down dog. Deep breath. Right leg steps forward, lunge. We're coming down. Knee on the floor. And again, this is where you have options, where you might have a hand on the block, a forearm on the block, a hand on the floor, or forearms on the floor. All of those are options. This right foot turns out and you're gonna twist. Notice that back foot, the toes are turned under. You're pulling the arch and the inside of your ankle to the midline. So twisting, feeling through this lumbar spine is turning as much as it can, which is not much. Twisting through the thoracic and the cervical spine. You're welcome to extend the arm if that feels better, or just press on the leg. And releasing. Coming up again onto the hand, and the hand is either on the floor or on a block. Some people may have an arm on the chair. We're reaching this right hand behind to grab the left leg, and we lean forward for a quad stretch, continuing with the twist. Deep breath. And release. Stepping forward, Uttanasana. Maybe wiggle a little bit if that feels good, bending your knees a little bit. Maybe you can jiggle and bend one knee, bend the other, a little jiggle through the legs. Use whatever feels good to loosen up a little bit. Hands to thighs, rolling up. And standing breath. And notice how you're doing from the inside. You don't need to put words to it, just feel it. The breath, the spine, the joints in the hips, shoulders, jaw, spine, knees, ankles. And release, breathe in, reach up. Grab your left wrist and lean to the side. Breath in, extend. Breath out, settle. Find not just the curving to stretch the left side, but to curl the spine. So finding from the tailbone all the way up through the neck and curl the spine over. Breathe. Release, come up. Switch sides. Again, curl the spine over. The right side will stretch. Find the spine. Breathe. And release. Standing on the right leg, pick up your left leg. Rotate at the ankle. Maybe extend the leg. Shoulders are back and down. Find the spine. That long spine is lengthening. And put your leg over to the side. You may need to reach the right arm over to the side, such as to touch a wall or just for balance. And then reach the leg back. We're going to reach this leg all the way back, coming into a lunge. Pivot. Toes face forward. You have a big wide stance. We're going to interlace the fingers behind the back, bending the knees, and bend right at the hips. Fold over. Your head may or may not touch the floor. The arms might just be a little bit above your back. Whatever it is, bend the elbows a little bit. Deep, full breath to fill the space under the shoulder blades. And allow the arms to come over the back toward the floor. Deep breath. And release the hands, coming hands to the floor. We're going to bend the leg so that this, my right leg is stretching. For you, you might be on an opposite leg, it doesn't matter. Long, straight spine. And switch sides. Long, straight spine. So take your tailbone and really push it back behind you. It may even feel like you lift the low back a little bit to get that long, straight extension of the spine. Good. Release, come back to center, bend your knees, hands to thighs, flat back up. Big reach. And release down. We're going to pivot the right foot out. Check your alignment that your heel is in line with the arch. Bend the knee. Coming into Warrior Two. Find your spine. Notice if it's slanted. We're paying attention. We're learning, where is my spine? Finding the tailbone, pubic bone, sacrum. Find that in the center. Feel the spine zipping up straight as you come into Warrior Two, Virabhadrasana 2. Forearm to the thigh, side angle pose. Parsvakonasana, start with a straight spine. So really find the spine. Find your tailbone, thoracic, and lengthen. Open the shoulders, down and back, deep breath. For some of you, you'll take this top left hand and put it behind your back, so the hand's on the sacrum, and turn. For some people, the hand will come all the way onto the leg, and you rotate. Twist your spine. Find the lumbar spine, twist. Thoracic spine, twist. Cervical spine, twist. Breathe. Release, uncoil. Press yourself up, feet point straight ahead, and fold, resting pose. Bend your knees, place your hands wherever it feels good. Rest and allow the spine to hang, as if your head were a bowling ball. It's almost the same weight. Allow that to pull the spine toward the floor. Deep breath. And release, bend your knees, hands to thighs, flat back up. Breathe in, reach. Notice yourself in the center. Reach through the fingers, pull the shoulders down, find the spine reaching through the top, find the tailbone reaching through the bottom. That may mean that you reposition the hips, that you get that full extension of the spine. Open up the arms, reposition your foot. Warrior two, Virabhadrasana. Again, finding that center, feel the center right here. Long, straight spine. Deep breath. Parsvakonasana, side angle pose. Start with a straight spine. So just lengthening. This tailbone, the sacrum, the lumbar spine are lengthening toward that right heel. Through the thoracic, through the cervical spine, through the top of the head, we're lengthening, getting the spine really straight. Deep, full breath. Relax into it. That breath in, we reach. That breath out, relax it, settle. As you wish, hand comes behind the back, and we're going to rotate. Twist through the spine. Again, the hand might be on the low back or your sacrum, or it might come all the way to your thigh and twist. Deep breath. And release. Back to the center. One more hang. Bending the knees a little bit. You can always reposition the feet and allow yourself to just hang. Sometimes it's easier that your head does not touch the floor, but you want bent knees so that you can really bend in the hip crease and allow the hanging of your spine as if it's like a rope. You can play with that a little bit if you wish. Swinging the rope, just a little bit. Release. We're going to walk toward the right leg, and pivot and come into Pigeon. So for a lot of people, they might have a block under the thigh, and this is a more comfortable position with the block under the leg. We want to also check that your shoulder is on the inside of that knee. As you're ready, just fold forward. Coming on to forearms. I tend to keep the back toes tucked under because I have better awareness of my leg, that it's not out to one side. Breathe in, extend your spine, lengthen. Breathe out, relax the entire spine toward the floor. It might round, it might be straight, but find the whole spine, the tailbone, the sacrum, the lumbar spine. Relax that portion of your spine a bit more toward the floor. Breathe. Find the thoracic spine and allow that portion of the spine to get closer to the floor. And then the cervical spine, the neck, to get closer to the floor. Mind's eye stays on the spine as best you can. And release. Coming up, we're going to twist. Back leg comes around. So when we come into this twist, you have a couple choices. You can have the knee bent under you here, or this bottom leg can be straight. So this is the leg that we just had forward in Pigeon. It's your choice. We're going to turn toward your knee. You can hook with the elbow or hold with the hand, but find your spine, close your eyes. Feel both hip bones, the sides of the right and left, top of the thighs, on the floor evenly. Find with your mind's eye the sacrum. Hello, sacrum. Now find the lumbar spine from the inside. Let's walk up. Well, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You're turning. Each one thoracic. 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We're now here at the top of the shoulders. Turn the cervical vertebrae. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And release. Uncoil, and let's come into hands and knees. Feet are flat on the floor. Hands right under the shoulders. And just rest. Long spine, but just rest. Feel the changes in that right side of the body. Anywhere in the body. Notice your breath. Deepen the breath. Big exhale. Left leg comes forward for Pigeon. And again, some people will feel more comfortable with a block under the thigh. Toes tucked under so that we have straight line, heel, knee to hip. And as you're ready, lengthening the spine and then folding forward. Find both sides of your hips, right and left. Find the hip joints and relax both sides closer to the floor. Find the tailbone, the sacrum, the lumbar spine of the low back. Relax that whole area a little bit closer to the floor. Breathe. And the thoracic spine. Allow the thoracic spine to get closer to the floor. And the cervical spine of your neck. And breath in, lengthen. Breath out, you're relaxing down. As if you could lay your spine onto the floor. And release. The right leg swings around, coming into your twist. And again, this bottom foot might be tucked under, or you might have your left leg straight ahead. Finding yourself seated right in the center, finding your long spine to start with. You can hold on again with the hand or the elbow and start with your eyes closed. Find the sacrum. And start to turn through the lumbar spine. We'll count our way up again. L5, L4, L3, L2, L1 have all turned a little bit, as much as they're able to. And the thoracic spine, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Cervical spine. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Breathing. And release. Good. Opening up the legs. We're going to do 1 or 2 more twists. We're going to curl the spine over to the left. So finding your whole spine and curling over. You can have the hand behind your leg or in front, whichever feels good. But feel from the sacrum, lumbar spine, thoracic spine, cervical spine, that all of that curls over. Breathe. Little bend in your knees, flex your feet, open up all your toes. Deep breath, and just lean, compressing the left side. Deep breath. Release. Press on the hand to bring yourself up. And pause. Just feel that wash that comes over. That flushing of organs, but it's also movement of spinal fluid in the spine. Over to the right or your other side. And again, starting to lean. We're curling the whole spine. So starting low, find that front side of the sacrum, the lumbar spine, starting to curl through there, curling through the thoracic, curling through the cervical spine of the neck. Allow the head to hang. Bend in the knees, flexed feet, open up your toes, and breathe. Release. And coming onto your back. Your choice of back bend for the last pose or so. We can do a bridge pose. I'll demonstrate that one. You're also welcome to do fish pose, Matsyendrasana, or a wheel pose, Urdhva. So for bridge, feet are hip distance apart. Tuck each shoulder blade under and just start by lifting the hips. We're going to start off, as we have for the whole class, with this lengthening. So finding your tailbone, reach the tailbone past your toes. Now reach your neck, the cervical spine of your neck, through the back of your head, crown of the head in the other direction. So we're first pulling the spine long. Then you start to arch through the back. You can press into the feet. So we're arching through the upper back. So we tend to notice the rib cage, but really see with your mind's eye if you can feel the spine. Some people will put hands under the low back to support the hips. And reach, breathe through the spine. Other people will have hands interlaced underneath the back. As you come down, open up first across the chest. So shoulders come off, and we're going to articulate to roll the spine down. So you can see I'm slowly taking the spine down. The very last thing to touch is the sacrum. And rest for a moment. Your choice of a last pose. You can do some windshield wipers if you want. A lot of people like happy baby pose, Anandasana, like this. Some people hold on to the toes. Some people hold on to the outside of the foot. You can do the same pose as a straddle. Some people may prefer Halasana, plow pose. All of these poses are fine. Deep breath. As you come into Shavasana, it may feel good to place some blankets under your knees. Sometimes that helps if you have low back pain, to give yourself a little height under the knees. For other people, it may be that they put a blanket a little bit under the head if they tend to have neck issues. Sometimes that feels better. Sometimes it makes it worse, so please be careful. Open the arms up, palms up, tuck the shoulder blades under, and lengthen your spine. As we come into Shavasana, feel the sacrum against the floor, and tailbone right under that. Feel the lumbar spine, the low back that probably are not touching the floor. There's a natural curvature of the back here. Imagine as if the lumbar spine sprouts roots, or maybe it's little fountains of water that come out of that part of your spine and flow into the ground. The thoracic spine, that connects to the ribs. To feel this portion of your back. Again, growing roots or sprouting little fountains to seep into the ground. your neck, the cervical spine, growing roots or fountains, little springs that go into the soil. And feel the air on top from the lungs. And let go. Stay here as long as you like. This is the end of class. Whenever you're ready, you know how to come out of Shavasana, rolling to your side. Eventually pushing yourself up. Again, you can stay as long as you want, laying on the floor. It feels good to just sink in. Thank you for making this practice part of your life, benefiting yourself and all those around you. I'll close with that quote that I like. The aspirant of yoga sees his own spine. The 7 islands, the oceans, the rivers, the mountains, the gates and the deities. We'll work on those in coming months. Namaste.